We have a fun, different video for today. Honey's in the car, so traveling, and we're still gonna show up and make this work, and make sure we can get as much information out to everyone and have a great time. And of course, Alisa's here as well. So how are you both?
Good.
We're
Yeah.
good.
Everything's getting better. Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was looking forward to this because, Honey's been going through things with her dad. So, and hello, my brothers and sisters. I mean, it's been a while, and I'm really excited to be here with Honey and Dayna. And we're curious on what's going on with you, Honey, and your dad, real quick, like, so we can get a lot of people that has questions about that. You can answer them real quick, like, before we do anything else. So,
Sure. So dad is in rehab now, and this is his second rehab. The first one was negligent. So he was back in the hospital. The medical system didn't really get the things done that he needed done. So he's very emaciated at this point, and we're just mainly making sure that he's fed and that he gets enough nutrition and starts to walk again and all that. So he went into the hospital, walking, driving, talking, and he's just, recovering now. And it's been 3 surgeries and lots of different things have happened. But it was quite a ride, and all the energies made it really interesting because every day there would be a different story in the hospital. Oh, well, it doesn't work that way now. It works this way. And it's not going to be that day, it'll be this day. So you could see all the timeline shifts constantly happening, which really prolonged the whole thing, I think. So it's just been a very interesting experience, and I'm glad that dad survived it.
Yeah, that's huge. And for all of you, and thank you for sharing that with us, honey. It's important that we send a lot of love, light, positivity, and prayers to Honey's dad and all of you dealing with the same situation. I know in our household, we're dealing with my mother-in-law that's been in hospital and then in a recovery facility since before Christmas. So, and it's really tough when it's really long. And all those little things that they can't do if they're used to going on walks, they can't go on walks anymore. If they're used to eating their favorite food, getting their nails done, all those little things, they really build up into big things that really hinder them. So for those of you that have taken care of someone else, you know how important it is to hold space.
yes, it is. And just remember, whenever you get a chance, lay your hands on them with
Yeah.
love because that always helps. Definitely couldn't hurt anything like that there. But we definitely send out all kinds of love, light, and blessings to everyone that's going through this situation, and especially you too, honey, because I know it's been something that's been going on for a couple of weeks, and I understand that it has been trying and challenging. But we have a lot of faith in you, so we know that you can get through this and get your dad through this with flying colors, and everything should be, easier since you're adapting to it. But I wanted to say to my brothers and sisters, because I've had so many emails and so many texts about, where you been? How come you ain't done a show? Well, I have said before, that I started a new job, and it is a night shift job, and it is running me about 12 to 14 hours. So that's definitely putting a hindrance on my being able to do some shows. But I did have a couple of shows scheduled a couple of weeks ago, one with Honey and then the other one with SG and on. But both, canceled due to personal reasons, and I understand that. So now today, I get to do this here with Dana and Honey. I'm very pleased with that. And I did get a reschedule for SG and on for the 18th, and I should be able to post it on the 19th. So that was for you got today's show and then another show coming up after that. So that will get me caught up on my shows. But I am really excited to be here. And Dana, thank you for sharing your birthday celebration with Devin's birthday, his 5-year-old birthday. I thought that was beautiful, and that you did
Oh,
everything right there at home. So, and that's very encouraging for those who feel more comfortable about doing the things at home instead of these extravagant places outside the home. So
yeah.
you made it very comfortable and very endearing. And if people go over there and watch it or see it, then they will see what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be extravagant or was that Chuck E. Cheese's and stuff like that.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it was fun. And it was full circle because he was born at home. He was a planned home birth, came 6 weeks early, about to head to the hospital. He still was born at home. So the same spot where he was born by the door was the same spot that we surprised him. So I just thought it was so funny. Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize you had him at home right there at the door.
Yeah, right there. I was like, and he was born
Well,
there too.
well,
It's
there you
hilarious,
go. He didn't want to cross that threshold. There you go.
right?
Uh, But there's a lot of things that's been going on, everybody, and we're all aware of it with the current events, with all of these executive orders that Trump's taking care of, and all the things that's been booming and hopping, since the inauguration. And I've been very excited about that, and I've been keeping up with it with everybody to the best of my ability. Trying to listen to most of it, on my phone while I'm at work, which works out pretty good. I don't have nobody bothering me. And but I do think that we are in our catapult year, which God told me that the election was going to be like none other before it, and it proved itself to be that. And then God said that 2025 was going to be our catapult, and it's definitely proven itself to be that with all of these here executive orders, all this change with Doge, is actually happening. And then also there the arrest. And God also told me that this year was going to be a gift. And so I specified, said, is it going to be the gift or is it going to be a gift? And God said it's going to be a gift. And I said, please let me know what that means. And God said, this is our year of disclosure, not just on the bad guys and everything that's coming forth with how our money is being spent, but also the bad guys, because we have somebody in play that's going to start putting these characters out on the field for us to pay attention to because we already are aware of the bad characters. And this is going to bring a lot of exposure and disclosure on that itself. And it's also going to bring disclosure on the UFO aspects, my brothers and sisters. Not only have we been seeing a lot more, but we're going to be experiencing a lot more. And I don't know if you remember me telling you back in, I think it was in November or December, that the Vatican came out with a handbook that's got an 800 number in it, that if you have any of these experiences with the ghosts and ships, UFOs, apparitions, whatever it may be, for you to call them first so that they can come in and tell you what it was, even though they weren't there. Okay. And that's called damage control. They want to try to take care of that before it gets any further to everybody else. But because these things are going to start ramping up more this year, we're going to be experiencing a lot, especially those who were sent here from other races, the ones that I call the incognito, that came here to help. We have star families out there that's going to start making contact with us, and God says that should be by the end of the year. So that gives us lots of time between now and then to do our practices, to talk to our star families, to stay with that positivity and that mindset to make it come forth, because our vibrations are so much higher, our frequencies are so much higher, that this stuff is just going to keep rolling out. So be prepared, my brothers and sisters. This is going to be one of the most exciting years so far. So I'm looking forward to it with all of you.
That's right. Absolutely. And it does feel exciting to know that what we know is what other folks will know. I tap into a lot of other videos. I'm sure most of you look at other videos, other truthers, if you want to call them that, and they're getting the same thing. So it's in the collective as well. There is I watched one recently, the Beyond Mystic. They had a conference recently this weekend, and some of you watching were probably at that conference, so we had a great time. They were also seeing in the cards, in the tarot cards, that there is disclosure. The disclosure cards were coming up. So it's good to tap into that collective information and see it on different levels. I will say, though, that I'm also a part of Connecting Consciousness, and I listened to Nino's Corner, which was also put on Connecting Consciousness video. So Simon Parks had a different take, and I just want to share all the takes because I think it's important to see everything. His take was that because he's signed NDAs and he has his ear to the ground on certain things happening on that side. And, we can clarify this here, that we would see arrests like Diddy and Weinstein and some of those other characters that have already been arrested. So on that level, but when we get to the higher echelons and ex-presidents, things like that, we may or may not see those because of the way it changes the dynamic of the respect level on a worldwide aspect. for the collective and for all of the other nations and how they see America. And that bothered me because that's not honest and forthright. And I think that's how it should always be. So I just wanted to touch on that to make sure that, is it 100%? Is it going to be watered down? How is it going to look?
Well, I do believe that it has to be watered down to a certain extent. It's
Mhm.
easier for people to absorb it mentally and physically and spiritually, but I do think that it will eventually come out. Just like you said that they won't be able to walk down the street freely anymore. That's already starting to happen, and that we'll get to a point where we'll see these here like tribunals on TV. Or think about where we're at right now. They're already pointing out the bad guys. They're showing the bad guys to us. Okay, and now they're talking about arresting these people. Eventually, this here will happen. So this is going to be what the public, wants to see some kind of justification for all of this stuff. So they're all going to throw out some dogs that's going to do just that. It's going to be, the guys that's going to be the fall guys for it. But eventually, it will lead up to the bigger ones. And yes, and all of this here will be documented, and we'll start seeing it more and more on television, just like it's being exposed now about our funds and the bad guys. Well, eventually that's got to lead to what? It's got to lead to some kind of a trial, some kind of a tribunal. If not, then it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
And then all of this is disclosure with the Epstein files, JFK and Martin Luther King. All of these things, they will come out, but they're going to come out as we can absorb them instead of getting angry, violent, causing protests and stuff like this here. And one of the tactics that they're actually using is they're bombarding us with so much good information that is coming out now to be helpful to us that we don't have time to really react to it because it keeps coming. And it's good information, so it's not really hurting us. It's just adding on to it. Okay. And then whenever we start seeing the negativity, we will get disgruntled. We will have words to say, but it won't be like they just dropped a bomb on us and then we're just finding out and we're all going to explode because this is too much to take. We're expecting this. So, yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. So before I get to this piece where it's going to be kind of sketchy service, there, I see it going back at least to Kennedy, and because they're already talking about those files, and they will talk about the deep state going back to that point. And the presidents, they will pick and choose who they're going to say were deep state all the way back to that point. And it will be very interesting, but at the same time, the financial system will be implemented, MedBeds will be implemented, people will be getting introduced to ETs, things will start to shift quite a bit. So it won't be such a heavy blow on everyone because we don't want to drop the consciousness as these things come out, especially like permanently drop it. So that's really important to think about, and also to disengage if you feel your own consciousness dropping, because we know about all this stuff. So we don't need to know all the details either.
Right.
Yeah.
Really need to rehash the beginning stuff or whatever. Just keep going forwards. Just like a lot of people that don't know it, they just need to keep going forwards and then collect it. Don't rehash on what was, because that can cause a lot of distress. Which you brought up the MedBeds, honey. I actually had a lady, her name is Ingrid, and she sent me a question in an email, and she's really curious about the MedBeds, and hoping and wishing that they'd be out, or was told that they should be out by summer of 2025. No, my sisters, maybe the fourth generation ones that Trump's talking about. They will be coming out with that kind of a mechanical type of MedBed. But as far as like the quantum MedBed, that is going to be at the end of the year for those who are making contact with their star families. Okay, now if you use a fourth generation MedBed, they're coming out. That's wonderful. That's good. It's going to help. It can cure cancer, okay, and other things, but it cannot grow back limbs and it cannot rejuvenate you. Only the quantum med beds can do that, okay? But Ingrid, I did tell you that I was going to answer your question in this here show today because I've gotten that same question from a lot of people. And all I can say is they already exist, they're already here. We just have to wait for them to expose them and bring them out to us. And by the end of the year, it makes logical sense that it would be the star families that is going to be able to go to like my islands that I talk about, okay, to be able to go get these things here started. But the fourth generation med beds that Trump is talking about should already be out on the playing field for people to use. Now, that's going to be a good catapult for those who get to use it because it's going to raise their vibrations, going to raise their frequency, and that is going to allow them to be able to get into a quantum med bed because those are frequency-based beds. So, Ingrid, I hope that answered your question for my friend, and just stay positive because they are coming. I cannot give you a designated date, but I do know they're already here and we're just waiting and expecting them to be exposed or brought out. So,
Very good.
mhm.
Yep. Makes sense.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you guys have heard, I've been waiting to hear about the World's Fairs.
Hmm.
And we've heard about it before, but it hasn't been brought up recently. So I'm wondering if you guys have heard anything about that, the dates.
I know there was something that you posted on Telegram, so that's the same information that I'm getting. I'm wondering if there's a website though that will give us updates. So if anyone knows of that, you want to put it in the comments, that would be
Yeah,
fantastic.
please do, because all I know is that it's supposed to be a planned ordeal.
Mhm.
But when and where, and I don't have any details on that as of yet, but I am curious. So please, put it in the comments below. But I did want to share with you, my brothers and sisters. I know you've heard me talk about the stars and how stars have different colors, and you can tell what stage the star is in by the color of the star. If it's red, it's a chakra star, red chakra star. If it's green, they actually are green stars. That would be a heart star. Okay. Well, they go all the way up, including the dark purple. Okay, for what we call our third eye. Scientists has just now admitted that we have purple stars and that we have green stars. And that's something that I've been talking about for a while, is because our star, he was in the green stage whenever we hit the photon belt. And if we could have seen it without the dome on it, it would have been a green star. It's very beautiful, more white in the center, but green on the or and outside of it. But very, very beautiful. But I am very, very pleased that they're now coming out and stating that there are purple stars. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that because I found that very, very interesting. And the scientists from scienceinformation.com or science.com also gives out the information that they have discovered these here portals right outside on our solar system. And that our entire solar system can slip through one of these portals. I find that very fascinating as well. They're starting to disclose more and more stuff to us about the things that are actually occurring that are true. So I just wanted to share that with y'all as well. And I do have a story on Amma Island. So after you ladies share some information, I do want to get into that as well, because that's very, very cool and exciting. So. Oh, honey, I spoke to a lady that says she's not far from you. And she definitely was sending out some love, light, and blessings to you for you and your family. She actually sent me a picture of you and her.
NASA stuff has been actually fun. Came out with
Yeah.
a version of the MedBed. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's been happening.
Mhm. It is.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. And
go ahead.
oh, just if I have to jump off a little, because helping the kids. It's our
Oh,
home today.
no worries.
Yeah. So with regards to coping through all of these changes, and we can talk more about updates as we go, but just to pop in and remind people about the Year of the Snake. We talked a lot about the Year of the Snake already, the knowledge, the information, the chakra system, all of the things that the snake embodies. And one of the biggest things is that the snake is always connected to the ground. always grounded. Whether they're in a grounding state on the floor or they're slithering up a tree, they're still grounded within that tree because the tree is grounded. Just remember to stay in constant contact with Mother Earth, whether that's hugging a tree like we've talked about in the past, bare feet on rock, dirt, soil, sand, whatever you have access to, if it's warm enough, we don't want anyone's toes to freeze off. Or even putting, a cotton blanket on the floor and being able to just sit down if that works for you. Some folks don't like to get their feet wet or feet in sand, things like that. But whatever works for you to get out there. When we talk about the energies, I feel them, but I don't feel them a lot because I feel like I'm so grounded. I've spent probably the last 15 years touching the earth with my bare feet pretty much every single day. We've had the occasional hurricane that comes through. I live in Florida, so those are days I'm not able to go out, but 99% of the time it's been connecting to Mother Earth. So when those crazy energies come through, I don't necessarily feel them. They don't push me off, the where I'm standing. I don't feel jarred. This past week, I felt very cranky. So whatever came through this week was intense. And I'm sure everyone felt that. So do what you can to get back into that grounding state. We'll pinch of salt in your water, sea salt bath, if you can have access to that, whatever helps you. A grounding mat, whatever helps you.
I agree. And like with me at work, I don't really have a lot of places that I can go ground myself. But there is, wood fixtures and stuff around that I will go and I'll just put my hands on it. I'll just take that deep breath. Or if I do get a chance to walk outside, and usually I'm putting my hands up against it, leaning up against a tree or something, because that's the only opportunity that I get to ground. And then I found myself like in the boss office, he's got some plants in there, and he wasn't in there. I was just in there talking to somebody, and then it was getting a little bit tense, because this person is telling me, I'm going to tell y'all, I don't have to tell you, but I'm going to tell you, this person was asking me if they can get, membership, they want to move to another country because of Trump, right? And they wanted to know, how do they become a member? They want to leave the United States, but they want to become a member of Hawaii. And I'm like, what? They don't even realize Hawaii's part of America. So before I say something really smart ass, and I know I shouldn't, there was this plant there, and I went over and I touched that plant, and I'm thinking, please, don't let me say something stupid. But I said, and this person's like 30 something years old. I said, you better be thanking God I don't know your mom or your daddy. And they're like, why? I said, because I just can't believe that you don't understand that Hawaii is not, I mean, it's part of America. And they're like, no way. I said, oh, like, wow. I mean, I was not expecting that. But in that moment, I felt like I needed something to ground me. So I grabbed a hold of the plant and I just held on to that, and it helped because it was a reminder. In that moment, I caught myself and I realized I needed to ground myself instead of just spewing out something, like you're just dumb as. I didn't want to say that. So
It's hilarious.
yeah, but you can use different things. Sometimes I walk through my house and because I have a lot of corrugated wood paneling, I'll just rub my hands across it, because that's wood right there or something that can ground me at that moment. So, but yes, outside in a tree and plants and stuff like that is a lot better. So thank you for that reminder, Dana.
It's comforting. Mhm.
Yeah. Anytime you can spend outside is really valuable.
Yeah. And it's been kind of windy over here because we've had some pre-wind storms, and then we had the storm, and then we had after wind storms. And it's been so, ladies, I just feel like I'm just Batgirl. Just want to go out there and just put my cape out and everything. It's been feeling so wonderful. I've been really, really enjoying it. Today is my day off. That's why I can do this show. And I've just been out there so many times because that wind, it's just got that, you just need a cape. For whatever reason, it keeps crossing my mind. If I just have a cape, it'd be really, really cool. But I'm absolutely loving the energy. That's what I'm saying. It's just that energy. It's just flowing through me and over me. It's just wonderful. I'm really, really enjoying it. So,
Yeah, I agree. We are manifesting at light speed. So today, my friend has women meetups, and she has them in different locations. They're usually centered around something holistic. So today it was around breath work. So I said yes to that a while ago. And because I said yes to that, the universe saw that I said yes to that and brought in more community, woman, sisterhood events. So, Honey suggested we meet up today, and this is working out. And then yesterday, I hadn't spoken to some of my college girlfriends in a while, and I got a text from them, hey, can you meet up for dinner tonight at 6? And we usually plan things way in advance because two of us have kids, the other one is in a relationship. So it's kind of hard to just say, hey, let's hang out right now. But we did, and it worked out, and it was easy and it was effortless. So just try to say yes to one thing and keep your arms wide open to receive that. Because once you say yes to one thing, the universe says, oh, they're ready. Their arms are wide open to receive. And then the invitations start coming, the money starts coming, the relationships start coming, the friendships start coming. So put yourself in the receiving mode. And Tanya, you talk about a lot about that, and so do you, Alisa. And I just wanted to remind folks how important that is. I think with money, the irony with that is that when you give to a charity or you're able to give to someone, you're showing the universe that you have enough to give, and then you get more to give. So with money, I think it works a little differently, not just feeling it in your body, the abundance, but also physically offering something to someone else, whether it's a charity, a legit charity, not the crazy ones that we've been, figuring out that are not legitimate. And I think Abraham Hicks said a long time ago to keep $100 bill in your wallet, and when you go out, spend it. Proverbially spend it. You're not actually spending it, but you know that you have it with you, and it makes you feel abundant. So whatever works for you, whatever works.
Yeah. Whenever you put it out in such a good mood, no matter if it's a bill or not. I'm going to take care of it. Give it some good. And like with me, there's a couple of things I still mail checks for, and on the back of the envelope, I will put love, light, and blessings on it. As I'm sending it out. And because I want that intention to be in it, even if it's a check, it's not cash, but still that intention. So yeah, a lot of people, y'all should do that too. It's a good suggestion. And write things on things that you have at home. Like, I write love on my bread loaves. I write love on my milk. I write love on my sugar bags, whatever it is, my flour bags, because I want it to know how much I appreciate it. And I'm always thanking God for the abundance. So therefore it comes back at me because God knows that I appreciate it. The same thing when you're sending out monies. And God knows that you're appreciative, and it comes back to you, 10 times or 100 folds.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But ladies, I actually was told that I could talk to y'all about Amma Island. Okay. And this is really, really, really beautiful and cool and everything else. The last time that I got to go to my islands was on my birthday this past October. I actually got to go for 14 hours, and it was 14 real-time hours. In other words, when I come back, 14 hours was gone from here. Okay. And it was something desperately needed, I guess. And it was my birthday, but they didn't tell me happy birthday. Just they kept saying happy Earth Day. And I thought that was really cool, because that was the time when I came to Earth, so to speak, So happy Earth Day, and it was good, and I enjoyed that, and I got a lot of rest and relaxation in there. But while I was there, I did get to check on, the other islands that I'm going to be dealing with. Well, one of my favorites that I haven't gotten to share with anybody, but I'm going to share it now. That's because I can describe it, and I can tell you what it's called, because we're no longer in harm's way, okay, so to speak. Okay, and it's called Amma Island. Okay, and it's also known for the Dragon Egg Island. Okay, and this is very, 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 very cool, especially for all of you out there that loves crystals and geodes and stuff like that. Okay, about 100,000 years ago, there was a caldera, which is a flat volcano. It doesn't have a cone; it just blows out of the ground. Okay, and it's pretty massive. And this particular caldera that I'm talking about was like 25 miles by about 40 miles. Okay, this is a huge explosion coming up out of the ground. Well, not only was it underground flat surface, but it was underwater. It was underwater about a mile deep. Okay, that all of this is happening. Okay, and then this massive explosion. And you got to think it's 25 miles by about 40 miles. Okay, so that's pretty big. That's about the size of the one that's in Yellowstone Park. Okay, it's a little Yellowstone Park's a little bit bigger, but this one here, and it was underwater about a mile deep. Okay, well, whenever this here cataclysmic moment happened, I want you to think about below the surface. There's all these giant looking boulders, okay, that are floating around in there, okay, and they're being pushed up through onto the surface. Now, it's kind of like gets a buildup, and the pressure gets built up. Whenever this thing explodes, now it's exploding under a mile deep water, and it's so massive and so powerful, okay? It is a super volcano, okay? And what it does is start spewing out these giant boulders. I'm going to say these suckers some are bigger than buildings. Some of them are I'm talking miles long. Okay, these things are so huge that it was spitting out these things. Okay, and this one particular rock, okay, it's about 2.5 miles by about 4.5 miles. Okay, rock, and as it comes up and it plumes out and it lands, and whenever it lands, because it's so high up, it's about 3.5 miles tall. Okay, this thing is huge. This is like a giant boulder you've never seen before in your life. But anyway, whenever it comes down and it lands, about half of it is sticking in the water. Okay, so you got to think the bottom half of it is a mile long and sticking down in the water. So it's going to be something like an egg. And then only half of that is going to be sticking up out of the water. Okay. Now, whenever this thing is landed, you got all these other boulders and everything else, all this explosion and stuff going on. And then you got these other big boulders that are landing on top of it. And what happens, it cracks the top of it open. Okay. So now it looks like a egg laying on its side with the whole part of it just crushed in because of all the boulders and stuff that was hitting it. Okay. And over 100,000 years with water flushing and all this kind of good stuff, it became its very own unique ecosystem. Now, what makes it so fascinating, my brothers and sisters, whenever it broke the top of that so-called rock, it was a 2.5 by 4.5 mile geode. Okay. Now, on the inside of this thing, it would be similar to what Honey gave me. Okay. Okay. Now imagine that. Miles
Amazing.
above you, beside you, and below you. And it has ocean water in it because it got filled in. It has its own ecosystem. It has its own fish. It has everything else. Okay. And this place is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. And for the majority, it's the reason why it's called Amma Island is because it's an amethyst geode.
Ah.
Okay. On the outside of it that has survived above the water turned into island, grass, dirt, trees, all this kind of good stuff. All right. And you can look down into this here cavern and you can see the water down in there. Right. And it's almost full. It's not completely full, but I would say about 3/4 of it is full of water. And but the island itself, as you're walking around, you can see little pieces of crystal here and there. Okay, because this was such a mass explosion, even over time, it's just kind of like settled. And it's breathtakingly beautiful. And what they have done for this particular island, I want you to think about those things I can't remember which one it was, the Jurassic Park one, I think it was 4, where they had those little glass balls that you can go out into the field and look at the animals and stuff. You're inside of this bubble. Okay. Well, they have something like that there, except it's just more like a Jetson thing, but it is a bubble and it's anti-gravitic and it goes into like a U hanger. And as it comes out, it goes into the water and it has a stick that you can steer it. This is for the people who come there to see it, to tour and stuff like this here. And you can go down into this water. You can see all this geode stuff, all of these, and most of them are purple. Okay, but they do have the pink ones in there. They do have gold ones in there. They do have some orange looking colored ones in there. And even under the water, it's just breathtakingly beautiful to be inside of something so massive like that. Okay. Now, one of my favorite spots in this as you're going down is you can see there's bubbles coming up on one side. And you're thinking, wow, where's all these bubbles coming from? And blah, blah, blah. And as you go down, you can see that because there's fractures and fissures in there and the pressure of the ocean is coming back and more, it's making oxygen bubbles. So it just comes up, right? But if you turned upside down and looked at it, which I did, it looks like the cliff of a underwater mountain that has a bubble waterfall. And it's just breathtakingly beautiful. And these are one of the islands that now has med beds on it. Okay, it was just a beautiful place to go see and investigate. And it's kind of like anybody that wants to research it or dive or anything like this here, this is the dream to you guys. This place is absolutely fascinating and phenomenal. And I wanted to share it with y'all because I know that that's one of the islands, and I'm hoping that, you know, we all get to see it. But to imagine a geo that got spit up out of a caldera and landed back in water that big, and now it's not only just an island, but and it's called a dragon egg island because of the simple fact that if you're looking at it from above, it has the shape of an egg, and you can see the outline of it underneath the water. And it's just absolutely, it's mesmerizing, my brothers and sisters, and I would love to be able to show it to all of you one day, hopefully soon. But that's just one of the types of islands that we're going to be dealing with. It's something that we've never seen before. So,
Sounds beautiful.
thank
Mhm.
you.
Aw. I'm so glad you saw that for your birthday or Earth Day, like they
Well, I
call
had already seen it prior, but I had
it.
gotten it
Okay.
back on my birthday. It was just to, you know, go around looking. And I'm just thinking the only thing that kept crossing my mind was, you know, I can't wait for my brothers and sisters to see this, you know, let them have that stimulation of the mind and stimulation of the senses and the eyes that it gave me. Because I mean, I got so excited. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm just gonna be blunt. I was so excited, I just thought I was gonna pee my pants. I was just so overwhelmed. It was like, this is just unbelievable. There's just no way. And it's just right in front of me. But we're talking about crystals and amethyst chunks and stuff like this here, you know, that are bigger than cars, you know, and some of them are sticking up out of there like, you know, the Empire State Building. They're absolutely, this is mind blowing. This is something that is hundreds of millions of years old. It took to do something like that. And then it gets spat out up, and then we get to see the beauty of it. But even on the island, there's still the little ball ones that you can pick up. And that's because it looks like there's eggs everywhere. So I can understand why they called it Dragon Egg Island, which is now is Amma Island. And I think that's beautiful, meaning amethyst.
That's gorgeous.
Mhm.
That's amazing. It sounds like there's more than one island. Is there an archipelago where there's many islands?
Well, I'm dealing with 26 of these islands.
Mhm.
There is more. There's lots more, my brothers and sisters, but the ones that I'm dealing with is 26 of them. And whenever I got to see that, like I said, I was just so overwhelmed because I mean, you know, I already love the amethyst anyway. But this here to me was like walking into a dream, and it glistens. I mean, even you're above it, you can see the glistening of the inside of this geode. You
Mhm.
know, it's so spectacular. It's just you just can't fathom that that's tangible. You can touch it and go upon it. But I like the fact that the way they made it for the touring, it's and you can do that in these little bubbles as well on the outside of it as well, because you can go down and you can investigate the outside of the geo too. So there's a lot of things that's going to be there for people to have fun with and see things that they've never seen before. And like I said, it has its own ecosystem. So there is fish and stuff in there that are not out here.
Mm.
So, because it's very secluded, but it's so breathtakingly beautiful. I just can't wait to show it to my brothers and sisters. And there's another one that's actually, you can tell it was another type of explosion, but it was actually on a mountain, and it blew off the top of it. And then the top of it stayed there. Okay, so now you have an entire lake on top of what would be a mountain going under the water, but it's islands all the way around us. But that one, this is just breathtakingly beautiful as well. So, yeah.
That is amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, those islands with the water, if you've ever, been to Bahamas, the Caribbean, or even other places, the Maldives, the water is so clear, and then
Yeah.
it's just blue, and it's like the blue Gatorade that you you can buy at the store, same color.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, so and it really, it's like it cleans everything. It
Mhm.
cleans your whole system when you're in that environment because the environment itself is clean, and then just the essence of everything, the salt, salty air, all of those things, they just connect.
Imagine swimming around in that water that's got all this crystals around you and underneath it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some really good energy water, you know. It's like you just want to take it and put a couple of gallons of it, take it home. You know, that's some good energy water. Um,
Oh, that's good.
well, honey, we're definitely I feel bad that you couldn't be on the thingy today, but we understand that you were driving and that you were heading home. Did you make it home?
I just got home and I was trying to figure out how to, make my camera work, and I'm on my phone, so I'm like, it's not there. So I'm here. Everything's good. I'm home and I'm just excited for the world right now. I'm excited for everybody. And I do know that we kind of passed through a gauntlet, our family. And I think a lot of people are doing that right now. It's been much harder on older bodies to go through this process. And I'm just grateful that it worked out and that he's still here. And it's been quite an intense time, but also the energies have been very intense and all the timelines have been shifting constantly. And when I was in the hospital, I could really feel it so much because every day was a different story about what was going on, but also the floor was like spongy. So you could feel that it wasn't really that real, you know? There was a lot of shifting going on all the time. And the people, they would either appear to you as a real being, or you would know that they weren't. They were like an NPC. So it was just such an interesting time to be in the city. I was like, wow, this is so crazy. And the hospital was crazy. It was packed.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
and very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your mom's
But
doing okay too during this here transition with all this stuff? She doing
she's
okay?
doing better. She's doing better. It's been for the whole family, it's been very intense, and my brothers will be here soon as well. So just, kind of you have to roll with this stuff and just do what you can. And I think that we were able to keep him safe enough, that he wasn't um that he's still here basically because the medical system was extremely challenging. So yeah.
Definitely rooting for you, my friend, rooting for your dad,
Yeah.
all of you together. And whenever Dana first told me that your dad had went in the hospital, she asked if I could write a father-daughter song. And to my surprise, I did.
Um,
So, and I was really glad that I got to send that. And I want to thank everybody for the wonderful comments that you put underneath it for Honey and her dad. So thank you, my friends. I really appreciate that. And I know Honey did too.
oh yeah, it
So,
was a beautiful song.
well, thank you.
Beautiful song.
So,
Yeah.
good.
So much good stuff comes out of intense times. And I think we've all gone through some pretty intense moments over especially the last week. I mean, you were cranky, Dana. I was so cranky. And I let a few people have it that were like, somebody called and said, can you come, up to Colorado Springs again and bring your dad and have his stitches taken out? And I was like, they took those out in the hospital. Why don't you guys communicate with each other? And then I kind of said what had been going on. And I said, he's not going back. He doesn't want to ever go back. So just kind of things like that, like the disconnect and all that stuff. And you don't really take it out on the person. That's really important. But it is important also to speak your truth. And I tried to do that and not take it out on anybody, but also say, listen, this was not appropriate what happened. So it's been a very interesting month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I've had people trying to push my buttons too, and that's the reason why I came up with that song Bubble Trouble. So
Yeah.
it's like, don't let somebody else cause you to pop your bubble, because
Mhm.
like I said, in that moment, everything in my instinct wanted me to belittle and just be nasty to this person that thinks Hawaii is another country. You have to get citizenship, and I didn't lose it. I didn't lose it. I'm very, very proud of myself. But like I said, whenever you get to those moments, try to catch yourself and ground yourself and don't lose it. Don't give them the advantage because it does it matters. Your response is going to make their response happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful on what you say and what you do, and just, do it with confidence and knowing that you're not going to let these people bother you. But it was really saddening, my brothers and sisters, to think that the school system is screwed up so bad that a 30-something-year-old does not know that Hawaii belongs to America. That was very disheartening to me. I wanted to just, to bitch slap that person's parents. How could that have happened? Where were you?
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thanks to that plant, I grabbed it and grounded myself, and God
So
softened my
funny.
heart, because I can't really blame them because they don't know it, but yet, you want to blame them because they don't know it. So,
That's
who do you
funny.
blame? You don't blame nobody. You let them figure it out by informing them that they are incorrect and giving them the correct information. That's more helpful than, you're just stupid and I'm embarrassed to know you. So.
Yeah, it can get frustrating at times. What I
I
did,
think
oh, go ahead.
the school system has really been really interesting. There was two parents in a kitchen with their teenager, and she had a sore throat, and they gave her Chloraseptic. And it was a spray, and
Yeah.
you're supposed to spray it in your throat. And she thought you just spray it on your throat. So she was spraying her outside of her throat
Ooh.
with the Chloraseptic and expecting to feel better. And the dad was so funny, like he was so beside himself, and he's like, "What? Where did we go wrong?" So the school system is really a mess, and they haven't really been teaching any kind of common sense whatsoever. So
Mhm.
it's just been very interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, I can remember, a couple of years ago, I said, I'm hoping to be the one that can bring back some common sense, or at least I feel like I have common sense. And then that's what Trump has been saying lately. We need to bring back some common sense. And that is so true. My brothers and sisters, it just surprises me, that these younger people that don't have no common sense. I mean, it got to the point where I wouldn't even trust them with a manual can opener because I'd be scared they'd kill themselves. So, it's because they don't have no common sense. It's amazing. But we're working on that. We're correcting it. We're getting it fixed and so forth. So that's a good thing. So
Yeah, that's true. And what I did recently with uh all the things that we're learning with healing with honey to clear out the shadows, bring in the fractals, all of those things. I reached out to
Mhm.
Scott Yates. So if anyone can reach out to him, he's having a wonderful special right now on questions. And you can even send him questions and he can send you a video. You can email him first to see how that works instead of having an actual session, if whatever works in your schedule. So I sent him some questions. And one of the questions was, what's the percentage of shadows that I've cleared between between 100%, and I was thinking it was 50 and his card said 90, so I was ecstatic about that because I mean I've been doing the work and I know I have a lot of shadows. A lot of my shadows are victim lifetimes, I feel, or the most recent lifetimes or victim lifetimes, and I'm sure I have the predator lifetimes like we all do, but I was really happy to see such a big number. And then I also asked him what percentage of my fractals am I bringing in, and I was lowballing it like 30%. And he brought up like around 10-15%, which is good. So it was a very conservative number. And that makes a lot of sense because I haven't really done the work focusing on that as much as the shadows, because I knew I had to do that
Mhm.
first to clear up everything. So for those of you that want that clarity, maybe from someone else, or you can ask your pendulum or automatic writing. And for those of you that are not in Healing with Honey yet, I highly recommend it. I've been there since the first week, and it's just been amazing. So I just wanted to bring that up and maybe get a pulse from you guys on what you're seeing as well.
well, I
Thank you.
definitely miss
Mhm.
Scott. So if Scott sees this, I love you, my brother. I miss you. I've been working so much. I haven't had time to hook up with you on a show, but I would like to get together soon. And but he was doing a show, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, and I got in there to ask him a question because I had 15 minutes repeat itself 3 times. Okay. And I'm going about cleaning, doing my laundry and blah, 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 and listening to the news at the same time. And it's like I'm walking into the laundry room and I'm seeing the clothes in the dryer, okay, and I'm taking care of them, getting ready to put them back, and I'm listening to the news, no big deal. And then I walk back in my laundry room and the clothes are in the dryer. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm looking around and I can still hear the news going on the TV, so I'm looking around. I'm thinking, okay, what happened? What's going on? And then I walk back into the laundry room and the clothes are gone. I was like, what's going on? And then I walked through the doorway and then I turned around and looked back and then the clothes was in the dryer. And every time I kept noticing the clock, it was like it was 15-minute increments. There was 3 of them. So I asked Scott, if you could give me anything. And he was telling me that this was my information only, that I would know what it was. And sure enough, I ended up getting my answer. And that was that I went through 3 time slips. Okay. It's kind of like you're turning the channel, you're going to 3 different pictures. And God slid me through all of them and put me to the one here. But I can remember on the last one on the news that I was listening, it was talking about this disclosure that God's talking about coming by the end of the year, about, worldwide, that we're not alone kind of disclosure. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and I'm like, okay, well, that happened. And then God is telling me that we're getting this gift this year. So I'm excited by the end of the year to see if this comes to fruition. But I did thank Scott for reading the cards for me and giving me at least an idea to know that I already knew the answer to that. But I'm looking forward to seeing him soon too, I hope. And he's supposed to be leaving soon to come to America, ain't he?
May?
May.
May. Okay. Shoot, I thought it was in March sometime that I thought he was going to do that.
Mm.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. And as far as the fractals go, if you think of your oversoul and you see it as a diamond and you think of all the little facets on the diamond, we are going to get several of those facets into our body to help us kind of fill out for ascension. And it's been a big push over the last month for that happening. I feel like they'll probably slow down and then eventually we'll just have all of the ones that we're going to be, having in our body for ascension. And I know the personality kind of fills out, like you feel a little stronger, you feel a little more energetic. When they come in, sometimes you feel more exhausted the next morning, but they're pieces of your soul. So those are beautiful pieces that have experienced other things. So you're just growing. And that's also part of gifts, because they know how to do things that maybe the fractal that was inside of you to begin with didn't know how to do. And that could be playing the piano, it could be telepathy, it could be whatever. So it's a lot of fun. And things are getting more kind and easier just in general. And we've been throwing off a lot of our 3D and 4D programming. So things have really shifted quite a bit. But wow, it was angsty before that portal. So I could feel it when we went through that portal, like around 11 a.m. on Friday. I was like, oh, it's so much better now, because it was so annoying and, angsty, and you could feel it from everyone.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crunchy. I
Well,
agree.
it definitely feel like,
Yeah.
the new wonderful energies that keeps me like a pep in my step, instead of being so dragged down or out. I mean, I am tired of stuff like this here, but for the most part, I'm in a better state of mind. And that leads me back to, this new job that I have. Well, before the job, I sit here and I do a lot of things, a lot of thinking, a lot of things happen and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that gets a little overbearing. Now that I have this job, that gives me a break from that. Okay, now I got something else I can focus on. And in those moments of doing a job, lo and behold, God still feeds me like these songs, like the words will come to me. And because I'm not distracted by other things that are taking me away from it, it just comes to me. So in that sense, if you can find something to do, my brothers and sisters, to occupy your time instead of just being focused on the future only, that can become very, very stressful. So release it. God knows what you want. You don't have to repeat it. God knows what you want. But find things to help alleviate that anxiety of things coming. When's it going to hear? Now, I need it now. Try to alleviate yourself from that by finding something to do. It doesn't have to be a job, but just be something to do, to keep your mind off of that, because it can be overwhelming at times. So.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And in those fractals, there is a remembrance of the Christed consciousness and what it takes to have compassion for those that are not as awake as we are. So when
Mhm.
I get into those spaces where I feel like I'm hitting a wall, not necessarily with someone that doesn't know what I know, but just, personality differences, I pull in and I feel like I pulled in some of those fractals that have deep compassion. Maybe it was a victim lifetime and I was able to forgive my victimizer, whatever that looked like. And I'm not going to dig too deep into that because I'm moving forward, but I'm allowing all of the beautiful, juicy lessons to come in and then practicing those lessons as I move forward. And what I like to do when I go into a room, a space, whether it's a party or the DMV or somewhere that's a little bit more mugglish, no matter what it looks like, or magical. I like to bring in light. I like to infuse the entire room with light. And then every person in that room, I visualize light coming into their crown chakra and just going and flooding their system. And it takes 2 seconds, and it's not something you have to think about for 5 minutes or more, but I just feel like it changes the energy in the room. Most of us are big souls, pretty much all of us that are watching this. So we're doing that automatically with our essence, with our being, with our quantum entanglement that we have as we move through life. But being focused and actually thinking about it and welcoming the light into the room, I just think it really helps. I've done that at work a lot when I used to work in an office. So whatever you can do to to help yourself.
Yep, because I walk
Mhm.
into work, I'm a glowing light bulb. Ain't nothing you can say or do gonna bring me down. So because I do have to deal with some people in the public, where at
Mhm.
home I didn't really have to do that as much. I mean, over the phone and TV and stuff like that. But still, these are actual. The only person that really gets on my nerves periodically now is my brother. But he's still mad because I shot him with a potato gun. And that was a question. Somebody wanted to know, since I mentioned a potato gun, what was I talking about? Okay, it's pretty much a big industrial size slingshot that you can put the little red potatoes in. Okay, and then you can shoot it. Now other people can do it with a tube, but yes, that's what I shot my brother with, was that potato gun. But he's okay. But he can get touchy about shit like that, but he'll be all right.
Funny.
Siblings.
That's right. I mean, I had the opportunity. I took advantage of it because my nephew was like, I had a premonition. You shot daddy with, yep, you were right. Now, something harmful, I wouldn't have done that to him. And I didn't, I hit him in his thigh. So he's all right. I was trying to shoot his butt, but I hit him in the thigh. So
So
see, God
funny.
bringing me a little bit of humor every now and then. So,
Mhm.
Love it. So
uh,
funny.
mhm.
So I have something here that I wanted to read to all of you as we wrap up. This is from Amanda Francis, and she does a lot of money mentality makeover. She may or may not be your cup of tea if you want to visit her website, but she has, I don't know if you can see this, it's on my phone. She has this water jug that she created. It's on sale on her website, and it just has a mantra. So as she's going through her day, moving out about, she has this saying on here, and it's very bold and exciting. And I just wanted to make sure I could share it with everyone. So say it with me. This is my day. I operate from confidence, clarity, and power today. I move with ease, grace, and flow today. Life bends in my favor today. Money flows to me in increasing quantities with greater and greater ease today. I receive avalanches of abundance today. I demand increase and overflow in all good things today. I am a magnet for miracles today. Everything I touch turns to gold today. Everything is working out for my highest good, greatest joy, and infinite abundance today. This is my day. All the love, Amanda Francis. So if that is something that calls to you, that's something she sent this. I'm on her newsletter, so she sends this information out, and she sent this picture out. But she sells that on her website. But I have no affiliation with the website, but the saying, what it's saying, and it's really powerful. So use those powerful words demand, command, instead of the wishy-washy words like trying or wishing or choosing or wanting. Throw those words away and start using powerful power words as we come into this new age. And one of the biggest things about creating affirmations is to make sure they're in the present tense. That's why she used the word today a lot, because your subconscious mind is, absorbing that, and it's hearing today, it's hearing now, and that is giving it a command to start right now. Not in the future, right now. And if you can say, if you see or find something that you love, like this whole saying that I just read, I just absolutely love it. Voice record yourself saying it with your powerful voice and listen to it when you wake up in the morning, because your subconscious mind will listen to other people, but when it hears your voice, it listens to it 1,000 times more. And I find that to be very powerful, and not, whether you like your voice or not, it doesn't matter. You'll eventually get over that, and just know that it's coming from you. It'll help with your self-love. It'll help with all these things, because there's a lot of things we can do to get to that step of worthiness. And a part of it is doing the mirror work, looking in the mirror, but sometimes that's too much for us. So let's, meet yourself where you're at. Use your voice, and the voice is healing. Your chanting is healing. Your voice is healing. Breath work is healing. So all these things we can do, but take it to that next level and put affirmations in your voice record them right on the voice memo on your phone, and listen back to them whenever you get a chance. And I think it'll really help.
That's correct, because I was telling just a lady yesterday, don't ask just for that healing. Thank for that healing. And don't accept no for an answer. Success is the only outcome. And stay positive. And thank you for, taking care of it and healing me now. Make sure that you emphasize that. I did that too. I was like, now and today, because it is now and today. You're not asking them to do it next week. You're asking for it now. So I definitely agree with what you said, Dayna. That was a good reminder for everybody. So thank you.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love you guys. This was so fun.
Yeah, always.
Well, I am glad we got to get so for some reason I'm getting tongue-tied today, but I'm really glad that we got to get together today, ladies. And so I guess I'm just getting a little tired because I haven't been to bed yet. So, I mean, today was my day off, so I just stayed up, figured I would, get some rest later. So I guess it's showing, and I apologize to my brothers and sisters. I am a little tired, so.
You're doing great.
Yeah, you're great. You made me laugh multiple times. I'm sure everyone else.
And I look good in this rose-colored shirt.
Yes.
My friend Karen got me.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I had rose tea and a rose shirt, so I'm really doing good today.
All right.
So fun.
But thank you, ladies, for enlightening my day and letting me know how your dad's doing, honey. That in itself is going to be helpful to a lot of people, because there's just so many questions, and I figured, we can do that today and just answer all those questions in one shot.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I want to thank everybody out there, because everybody's been really kind and really sweet about sending love, sending energy. And it's been really helpful for him. I think it's helped keep him protected through this process.
That's so important. Very good.
Well, ladies, I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. But, I have plans, and that is I'm going to go get me something to eat, and I'm going to go lay down.
Sweet dreams.
Enjoy.
I am going to do just that. I love you, ladies.
Lots of love.
I love you, my brothers and sisters. And remember, you're everything that you see, no exceptions. So be kind to it.
Love you all.
Love you guys. Bye, everybody.
I'm trying hard to do my best. I'm feeling good, no worries, no stress. Oh, when I walked in, I was feeling like a kid. I found myself just last week. I've been singing, oh, I'm free. Starting out on all my dreams, living life for you and me. That's what I love about my life. Oh, sing along, there's no price. Sing aloud and feel the grace. Listen close as the band plays. Dance softly in your blue jeans, making changes in this dream. Better choices with a new scene. Let's come together, a dream team. That's what I love about my life. I'm creating me, I'm rolling dice, taking chances on a brand new life. Being me for the very first time. Going on a family run, gonna have me some fun. Well, it's my time. It's done, we crossed the line. Let's have fun on a playground, having fun with no bounds. That's what I love about myself, seeing beauty in our well. With my family next to me, I'll be happy inside this dream. Let's take a walk, a new road, me and you in a brand new role. That's what I love about my life. Oh yeah, I can see with a new sight, holding dreams way up high, having fun in true health, seeing beauty in our wealth. That's what I love about my life. Well, sing along, there's no price. Sing aloud and feel the grace. Listen close as the band plays. Dance softly in your blue jeans, making changes in this dream. Better choices with a new scene. Let's come together, a dream team. That's what I love about my life. I'm creating me, I'm rolling dice, taking chances on a brand new life. Being me for the very first time. Going on a family run, gonna have me some fun. Well, it's my time, my time. It's done, we crossed the line. That's what I love about my life. Oh yeah, that's what I love about my life. Oh yeah.